Silver and Blue Huddle is back. Richblkman, so amazing. Expert Corner is out right now. Hopefully he'll join us up. If not, he'll definitely be back next week. But man, we got a lot to talk about. The Dallas Cowboys did it again. Went out and lost. Back-to-back games at home. What are we going to do about the Dallas Cowboys? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words. I don't even know what we really going to talk about today other than the Cowboys just not doing a job out there losing, can't stop the run, ain't been able to like stop the run in years. So that's not too surprising. But however, the lack of offense, the lack of defense is kind of surprising because this is supposed to be our year. This is supposed to be the year that the Dallas Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. We just paid two guys a whole lot of money and they just not showing up. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, like you guys are the major players on the team. You guys are getting paid the most. When are you guys going to show up and produce for the Dallas Cowboys and get us over the hump and win some more games? Because losing is not it. Losing back to back is not it. Losing at home is not it. Well, we recently won 16 straight last year, but this year we're starting off at home 0-2. So at this point, I'm saying Dallas Cowboys, go back on the road. You guys do better on the road, okay? You guys have no pressure on the road. Please go back and play some road games. And you got one coming up this Thursday that you got to win. It's a must win. I ain't coming up here next week if we lose to the Giants. Like, we just can't do it. But So Amazing is back off his vacation with DJ Khaled. He was down in Miami, but welcome back, sir.
I mean, listen, look, you see my cup, chat, and for those of you that are listening, on the audio only, it says tomfoolery with some big old eyes, and what that basically means, guys, is that I saw some tomfoolery out there on Football Sunday. The tomfoolery I saw was coaching. I saw arguing. I saw people smacking the ground like they were having a tantrum as a toddler. We need to be like the parents right now, Rich, and we need to give them a little spanking or something. We need to give the Cowboys a timeout. We got to do something. Put them in the corner. I don't know whatever type of discipline you guys like to do out there, parents. But the Cowboys need some parenting right now. They need to figure something out because we are right now dead last at stopping the run, and the formula has already been out there, and we need to figure it out now. Zimmer's a great defensive coordinator, all right? And I'm just very upset because I saw a lot of tomfoolery out there. The stats don't even add up to the score. Doesn't even add up to what really happened out there. And I can't even look at these stats right now because it means nothing to me. Besides, the only stat to me means is that W. And right now, Cowboys need to figure it out. And internally, I don't care if it's in the locker room. Stop arguing. Figure it out because we have a division game this Thursday.
Right. And like you said, that the score is 28-25, but that is in no way, shape, or fashion the way that the game went. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys almost made a comeback, but hey, that is what the Dallas Cowboys do. They get you all hyped. They come back at the end of the game, come back in the second half just to lose in the final possession. So that's the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they couldn't fool me. They was like, yeah, we coming back. Dak Prescott scored a touchdown. We got the onside kick, and you thinking the Cowboys are coming back. But no. The Cowboys can't stop the run, so therefore they still lost, which I knew they was going to do anyway. So if there's one thing that I know is don't get hyped about a Dallas Cowboy comeback because you're going to end up getting your feelings hurt. So that's just what the Cowboys do. But we can talk about it, but obviously stats-wise, there ain't really much to talk about stats-wise. We couldn't stop the run. Our offense couldn't get it. They couldn't get it going whatsoever until garbage time when the freaking Ravens went into like a prevent defense just to hold on to the W. So I don't really want to talk about the garbage time stats. Yeah, Dak Prescott is a good garbage time quarterback. Pad the stats like LeBron do on a regular basis. So I ain't even worry about that. But 28-25, the Ravens take it. The Ravens get their first win of the season. The Dallas Cowboys take another L, back-to-back losses at home.
Back loss at home.
Which, like I said, we didn't lose back-to-back home games at all last year. Like, we went undefeated at home up until the Green Bay game, which we don't want to talk about. But let me ask you, who is to blame for this Cowboy loss again? Let's talk about that.
That's a good question. That's a good question, right? Who do we blame, right? The first thing people want to go to is coaching, right? They want to blame McCarthy. They want to blame the owners. They want to blame the players. Oh, CD Lamb should have been there practicing in the summertime. He should have got more this and that with Dak. Make more of a connection. I blame. You're actually gonna laugh at this. I blame the general manager and the organization. I blame the owners a little bit because right here, right now, is showing that we weren't ready for the season. That Browns game was like a tease for us Cowboys fans. That Browns game basically was like, oh, I guess we're really good. And as these weeks have passed, we looked at the Browns, and the Browns really ain't that good either. So that might have been a fluke W for us to kind of build up our confidence. And these past two games have really punched us in the mouth as a team, not as a one person, not just on Dak, not on anybody, because Dak didn't throw any interceptions. All right, I will say that stat out there. He didn't throw no interceptions, so he didn't turn the ball over. I blame it on the organization for not being ready. They were not ready for this season. They try to go in light. They try to pay heavy on Dak, pay heavy on CeeDee Lamb. Yes, you want to keep the stars. I get it. But right now, our running game is hurting. It's hurting. And we need to figure out, how is this running back rotation in the backfield going to work? And how is that O-line going to push forward and fire off the ball so we can get more rushing yards, so we can give Dak more rollout play actions, instead of having Dak sit back there in the pocket and throw the ball 51 times. We are not going to win games with Dak dropping back 51 plus times. I called it week 1 when we first had the first podcast, and now we're about to go into our week 4 game. And I'm telling you, Dak passing more than 45 plus attempts a game is not going to win us ball games. I get it. It looks nice on the stats. I get it. We have great receivers. Throw the ball. You paid the quarterback. I get all that. But now I'm just getting frustrated as a Cowboy fan, and as an organization. I say, figure it out internally and get everybody on the same page, because you got defensive players. You got Micah Parsons arguing with DeMarcus Lawrence. You got offensive players arguing on the sideline. And again, what happens, Rich, when you're not getting that W? People start pointing fingers at each other in that locker room, and that's what we need to avoid, because we have a long season.
Right.
So sorry for my rant. I had to get that off my chest.
Now you good, and you're absolutely right. I mean, even the folks I saw in the media today that actually Jerry Jones came out and said that if there's anybody to blame for the Cowboys' recent problems, it's actually him. And I know we are big defenders of Jerry Jones and saying, hey, it's not his fault. He ain't out there missing assignments. He ain't out there fumbling the ball. He ain't out there throwing interceptions. But the way that this team is built is flawed, the way that they're playing right now, because the team is actually built on, as far as defensive wise, the defense is actually built to get to the quarterback. They're not built to stop the run, and teams are running on us. But our interior line, we ain't got those type of players. We don't have a run stopper. We drafted one in Mozzie Smith, but he's been a bust so far. So the way that our defense is set up is to rush the passer, and our offense is set up to score points. And our offense ain't scoring points, and our defense ain't getting to the passer. So it is all the disaster right now. But the way that Jerry Jones put the team together, it's kind of flawed because we don't have the personnel. And with the offense not being able to step up and score points, they get 3 every now and then. But shout out to the greatest NFL player right now this season, which is Brandon Aubrey, who's out there making 65-yard field goals. So he's the best player on the team. So
that's our number one weapon right now. That's the most consistent.
Yeah, exactly. So Dak Prescott maybe need to give Brandon Aubrey some of his game check, because he's out there putting points on the board. The Dallas Cowboys came out, and we all know the history of the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, right? They are front runners. So they got to be able to have a nice little lead in order to rush the passer, right? So the Cowboys came out and they actually accepted the ball first. And you're thinking, okay, that's great. Cowboys going to go out and put up 7. The Cowboys came out on their first drive and ended up punting the ball. And then on the Ravens' first drive, they end up going down and scoring. So now the Cowboys are down 7-0. So that puts a lot more pressure on Dak Prescott to score the ball. But they're not stepping up. The offense is not stepping up. In past years, it was a defense that was a problem. And even when Tony Romo was here, the defense was a problem. But one thing you cannot say about Tony Romo is that he did not put up points, because he put up mega points to cover the defense. That the Cowboys was out there scoring 30, 40 points a game with Tony Romo because the defense was bad. Yeah, he lost in some games and he wasn't the best or whatever. He didn't take it to the Super Bowl, but he at least stepped up offensively when he needed at the most critical times. And I think that's what Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb is actually missing. They're not able to keep up with these other offenses, man. Like if you're able to keep up, then maybe the defense could get to the quarterback a little bit. But you can't go out and have 3-and-outs or fumble the ball in critical times and expect your defense to step up, especially when they running the ball. Because when teams get a lead, what they try to do, they try to run the ball. They ain't trying to like continue to run up the score. They trying to eat up clock and run the ball. And with the Cowboys defense, we don't have interior line to stop the run. So when teams out there running, DeMarcus Lawrence
But
ain't
that's
getting
the
to the
main
runner.
part, Rich. That's the main part. You just said it right there. That's the main part is we have to stop the run. We
Yeah.
are last in stopping the run in these past 3 games. And total rushing from last game. I'll just end it right here from those stats because I really don't want to talk about it too much. I want to move forward. But 151 yards was by Derrick Henry, but a total of 270 yards total were rushed on us as the whole Ravens team against us. So like just like anything, if you run that much on somebody, you're going to win the game.
Right.
And like I said, the score was only 28-25, and they ran for 270 yards total. You give that to any team in the NFL, they'll do backflips for that because they would love
Right.
to get over 200 yards rushing on any team in this league. So to do that to an NFL team, 274 yards against an NFL defensive team with a defensive coordinator that is a veteran. My advice again is figure it out. Coaching staff, personnel wise, executives, figure it out. Because you do got some players out there. You got to figure it. Now you can't get a brand new defensive tackle unless you go grab one of these free agent people or do a trade when the trade deadline comes. I mean that's in the future. I can't talk about the future. I can only talk about now. But right now, as a defensive coordinator, you got this team, the Giants, that are about to come on Thursday, where we're going to the Giants.
Right.
But they saw the tape. And they are going to try to just do the same thing because they want to play a dysfunctional Cowboy team. The Giants want to play a dysfunctional Cowboy team. They want us to go into that game arguing with each other still and trying to figure out what identity we are. They want us to do that. We need to go in there with a mindset like we need to win this game. We need to stop this run. We need to make Jones throw us the ball. It's a mindset issue right now. And that's what the Cowboys got to figure out right now. It's a mindset issue. They got to figure it out.
Again, I think it still goes back to the offense. They got to be able to put up points. I mean, the defense not going to be able to do what they're supposed to do and do what they are built to do if the offense is not putting up points. Because a team can't continue to run the ball down your throat if they're behind 14 points because Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb put up 14 points on the board. And now just imagine if Dak Prescott scored on his very first possession and then the Cowboys and then the Ravens got to go out and try to match that score. When it's 0-0 and the Ravens got the ball, okay, this is their opportunity to go and put 7 up. There's no pressure on them because the game is still 0-0. Now, I think the play calling does change a little bit if the Dallas Cowboys go out and put 7 on the board the very first possession. Because the Ravens get in their head and be like, oh, this is a high-powered offense. We got to be able to keep up. 3 points ain't gonna work with Justin Tucker. Like we can't go down and the Cowboys get 7 and then we come out and only get 3 and we get the ball back to them with the opportunity to go up 14-3. Trust me, the play calling changes if that other team starts to score on those possessions. And the Cowboys were not able to do that. They had 7 plays, took up 3 minutes, and they only went 13 yards on that very first drive.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What was the other reason for them deferring to the second half if they really didn't have no plan of scoring with their very first series? Because we all know the Cowboys are front runners. And when they front runners, then the defense can do what they want to do because they're playing the pass. Ain't nobody going to come out and run the ball when they down 14-0. They go into their passing setups. And then that's where the Cowboys cook. Because as you saw in week 1 versus the Browns, right, the pass rush got there because the Browns had to pass because the Cowboys was actually scoring. So their run game was abandoned early. So you would think that would carry over to the week 2 and then week 3, but you can't stop the run.
Exactly.
The Cowboys offense did their thing week 1. They came out and scored against the Browns and scored often. So that kind of changed the whole game plan of the Browns. They didn't do that versus week 2, and they definitely didn't do that in week 3 as well. The first couple of drives in week 2 and 3 stalled out. and the other
Yeah.
team put up points. Because what, we was down 30 something to zip in both games before halftime. I mean, come on.
3 score, like, 2.5 scores. Yeah,
Yeah,
three
two and a
scores.
half, 3.5 scores in the first half. Like, we put no pressure on the other team because the offense wasn't scoring. And Dak Prescott is getting paid, CD getting paid. We need our stars to step up. There's no other way around it. They got to step up. They're the highest people on the team. They got to step up. Point blank. Because this is the
And,
Cowboys' future. All right,
and
we
stop and
tied to
stop the
Dak,
run.
and we tied to CD for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So if anything, this is an indication of what the future Cowboy teams are going to look like. A bunch of losses because Dak getting high paid, CD getting high paid. We're not going to be able to afford any other players because they getting paid the most, but they not
Yeah,
producing.
we're gonna need some defense.
Normally when you get paid the most, you actually produce, but it's going backwards with these Cowboy stars. Like, it's
Yep.
crazy. The highest paid quarterback in the NFL, but he can't score. He can only get 3 points. What they do that at? The highest paid receiver fumbles the ball in the red zone.
Tell them how you really feel, Rich.
Yeah, and then goes on the sideline and throws a tantrum. You got those OBJ vibes in you, CD. Like, come on, bro, what you doing, dog?
Yeah,
Like,
emotions get crazy on the sideline.
yeah,
Yeah.
and one last thing I will say about CD Lamb, and I've seen it over the past, like even going back to like last season, when he goes against a physical defensive back, he can't get open. He cries too much. He drops the ball too much. Like, come on, CD, you got to work on that, man. Like, if you look at all the games, right? Going back to the Packers game when he was matched up against Jair Alexander, physical
Yeah.
physical DB. Did CD Lamb go off that game? No. Did CD cry a lot that game? Yup. Come on, bro. Come on. Like, what in practice? Like, what are you doing? Like, you got the flag
NFL
on or
practices
something? Are
these
you
days
not
are
in
not.
pads or something? Like, the DBs ain't getting physical with you because it seems like every time you go against a physical DB, they lock you up. Every time. And I know you're getting double covered. I get it. You're getting double covered. But hey, sometimes you single covered and you can't even get off the ball, bro. Like, bro.
Well, Dak gotta get stop with the happy feet sometimes too.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But
But
anyway,
we got a test on Thursday though.
we do got a test on Thursday. I mean, I'm
It's a
looking forward
division
to it.
test. That's why I saw that.
That really was the only upside to this Ravens game. I mean, I said it before last week. Was it Ravens game a must win? In my eyes, no. It was a nice to have win, but it wasn't a must win. And the only reason why I said that is because we've got the Giants coming up. And the Giants ain't beat us in what, 4-5 years? So I'm feeling good about that matchup. So hey, at the end of the day, the Dallas Cowboys will probably be 2-2. Okay. And I'm looking forward to that because we're playing the doggone Giants. So they have
The
no
G-men.
chance. They're G-men, right? So I'm hoping
That's
we come
Thursday
out,
night game, right?
yeah, I'm hoping we come up and show out and like beat the Giants like we normally do. So let's talk about that real quick. Obviously, they ain't got no Saquon Barkley this time around, but they do got Devin Singletary,
is the running
who's
back
actually
now. Yep.
a pretty good back if you
Pretty
give him
good
the
back.
ball a lot. I mean, he's the only back that they got, but they do have Daniel Jones, and I'm looking forward to playing against Daniel Jones. But at times he could be a Lamar Jackson too with his running abilities. So if we make Daniel Jones into a passer, it should be an easy game. But let's talk about that. What are some of your keys to the Giants and Cowboys?
I think the biggest key right now in that game, the matchup that I'm looking at the most, is Cooper Beebe versus Dexter Lawrence on that D line. That all in the trenches. That O line, D line battle for the Cowboys on offense and the Giants on defense. Dexter Lawrence is a house. He is a problem. He really is. And I want to see how Cooper Beebe, as a rookie, this is his test. Now, will they slide Zach Martin over? Will they slide Tyler Smith over? Will they help him double team and leave the rookie on the outside to block solo 1-on-1? That's really what I want to see is Cooper Beebe gonna be able to hold up Dexter Lawrence when he bull rushes? Because we all know historically when that interior pocket breaks down, Dak gets very happy foot. Every time, and we all know that. Every time the offensive line gets broken down and pushed in and it collapses, Dak gets very happy. He gets happy feet and he either throws the ball in a bad situation or he tries to do too much with his legs. So that's the part of the game that I'm most interested in seeing is Cooper Beebe versus Dexter Lawrence on that in deep down in the trenches. I'm not worried about much others. I'm not really worried about Malik Neighbors and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I'm not worried about Daniel Jones. Not really worried about those matchups. I think Micah is still going to be Micah. I think our pass rush is going to get there, but we got to stop the run.
Right. I mean, I didn't watch much of the Giants last week. I mean, I don't really think they have much of a run game to like really stick with through the entire game.
Yeah,
Now, if they do, God bless them, and they probably will win the game. But I don't see the Giants sticking with a run game the entire time because I
yeah,
do believe the offense gets back on track. I think the Giants' defense and their secondary is kind of suspect a little bit, kind of fraudulent. So I think the Cowboys get back on track offensively and able to put up some points. If the game is close, I mean, I'd be highly disappointed because I don't think the Cowboys and the Giants are on the same level. Even though the Cowboys are kind of struggling right now, I do
mhm,
like Malik Neighbors. But hopefully he gets locked up by either like Trayvon or somebody in the secondary. I
mhm,
don't know how much zone we can actually play in that game, but the Cowboys are primarily man to man. So I'm
yep.
hoping we don't let him go off. And we made Daniel Jones a passer. If we make Daniel Jones a passer, I love
Oh,
our chances.
oh yeah,
I love our
all day,
chances against Daniel
all
Jones
day.
passing.
But we got to
Um,
establish that run defense first, and we
we
got to
do,
score first. We
we
got to
do.
score first.
And I think the Cowboys do that. The only thing that I'm afraid of is if it's a close game and the Giants may need like a field goal to win. I think they are capable enough to get in field goal position with Daniel
Yeah.
Jones' legs or for him to make like a lucky pass or something like that because Malik Neighbors is pretty good. I mean, he did his thing last week.
No, he's good.
Yeah, he's
I, I
good
I just think I just think the Cowboys are just a better team. I think overall, I think
overall.
yeah, we have been getting our butt whooped the past 2 weeks. I think this has to be the game though. You know how
Mm,
like the Ravens had all the pressure on them going in against us, and they needed that first win to go 1-2. I feel
right.
like this is like a must win game for us, not just record wise. It's a division game.
Yeah.
It's the first division game of the year. And we're not going against the Eagles and nothing like that. So it's not like we have to worry about like playing a really top tier NFC East team. We have to get this win. We have to
Yeah.
get it for confidence building, for division, for conference, a percentage of winning. This is a big game involving building the confidence of the team, building that camaraderie back, figuring out who we are as an actual team. And it's a division game
Right.
against the G-Men.
I think overall, right, the game is important, definitely a must win, but it's going to tell you exactly a lot about the Dallas Cowboys and the coaching situation because losing three straight and then losing to the Giants, like that's a fireable offense. Like somebody got to go. Like
Now I was gonna say, now let's talk about that. Let's talk about
somebody
the
got
other
to
end of
go.
the stick.
Yeah.
If the Giants wind up pulling out this win, what happens?
I think you
What
have to look
adjustments are
at
they made?
you have I know Jerry Jones on fire coaches mid season, but you have to maybe look at that. There's a bigger issue going on in the locker room if the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Giants and losing three straight. I did not imagine that the Dallas Cowboys would get beat in the first half by the Saints, go down 30 to zip. And then it happened again. It was the Ravens. Now, if the Giants somehow
Yeah.
come out and do almost like the same thing, or if they lose it, I don't think the Giants are going to come out and blow the Cowboys out. But
No.
if they do, it would be a, a, a sure sign that something is going on in the locker room and somebody needs to go. I don't
Yeah,
know if
and
that's
that's the thing
Zimmer
too. It's like
or McCarthy.
so who goes, right? So if the Cowboys lose again and the guy, let's say the Giants rush for 150 yards, 180 yards rushing on the ground, right? Let's just say something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we lose again in a close one, 3 points, whatever, and we got torched on the ground again. Is it a head coach discipline or is it, hey, we scored points on offense, the defense is not doing their job? You know
I
what I mean?
mean,
Like that's
but
the next question.
who on the defensive line on that interior that we have that's supposed to be making an impact? Can you name anybody? I don't think we actually
I
signed
mean,
anybody.
Mozzie hasn't stepped out. Mozzie hasn't
Yeah.
shown us nothing. And Linval Joseph is just getting old.
Yeah, so I mean, stopping the run isn't nothing new. The Cowboys weren't able to stop the run last year. Not they weren't able to stop the run well before they played Green Bay. So
They got to do something with their linebackers. They got to show
yeah.
something. They got to rotate. They got to do something like because again, you might not have the big hog in the middle like we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
but there's other ways of mugging a gap so people are not just running down your throat. Like I think that's what Zimmer has to do this week. I think he's gonna have to get creative with those linebackers,
Mm.
move around, overshot. Like I get, you saw when he put Mike at middle linebacker and he had him blitz from the, he had him blitz from the middle. I like all that exotic stuff. It's fun to watch, but if you want to stop this run, do not put Mike at middle linebacker. Do not
Yeah.
do that. Have Overshawn and Kendricks. Have them tight up close to that line. I don't give a damn if you got to pinch that D line. Pinch that D line, and these linebackers gotta fill. They can't be standing there. Because there was a lot of times I saw this weekend where they were just they stand and react. You gotta shoot a gap.
Right.
I didn't see no linebackers shoot no gaps.
Well, I think it's also more than just the linebackers of the world because I actually saw a clip DeMarcus Lawrence getting blocked by a wide receiver. And the wide
Okay.
receiver actually pushed him back a few yards. I'm like, how the hell is that possible? Big old D Law versus a small wide receiver. At that point, I'm like, yo, D Law, you better get a penalty for dragging this man in the ground because ain't no way you let a little dude like that just come out and just push you around like that, bro. Like, ain't no way. But
So
hey,
you think it's more scheme? You think
it could
we need
be,
to make
yeah, it could be
yeah.
scheme in the way they lined up because I saw that clip where a wide receiver was blocking D Law pretty good. A tiny wide receiver. And we all know how big D Law is. D Law was actually on the outside, and I think
Yeah.
they ran like a wide receiver screen or something like that. But the point is, he was able to block D Law, and D Law didn't get a penalty for dragging his ass in the ground. And I was pretty
Got it.
disappointed about that. I'm like, bro, that stuff only happens in Madden. That shouldn't happen in real life. You're a big old defensive tackle and you got a wide receiver blocking you. That should be Pancake City. Like you
Yeah,
should
so
get a
I want to
roughing.
see some nastiness this week. I
Yeah,
think that's what it is. I think that's where I'm kind of getting to. I want to see some nastiness by that defense. I want to see
yeah.
it.
Like,
It's
bro,
a division game. You're in Jersey. Listen, they're right, about 30 minutes away from me. I want to hear the crowd, man. I want to hear that crowd. I want them to leave early.
right. I think the Cowboys put it off. I mean, I'm hoping it's in very dominating fashion, kind of back to week one of the Cleveland game. I called that one, and I'm gonna call this one and say that the Cowboys just come out and dominate the Giants and be back to where they normally are, which is beating up on all the bad teams, and I'm loving it. Okay, good. I get to be able to cat for a full week. So
And I gotta add something too. So, it's for I guess like the out of technology people. So I got a call from my grandfather the other day, and this probably goes to people anybody's listening that has like elderly people in your family. Thursday Night Football is on Amazon Prime. All right. I had my grandfather call me. I had my dad call me, all asking me last week. They wanted to watch that Jets game. And they're like, Mike, where's the game at? Blah, 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 blah. So just letting you guys know, it is Thursday Night Football is on Amazon Prime.
yeah, it's going to send us a check for that, Amazon. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Just want to throw that out
You
there,
got a full promotion out of me on the Silver and Blue Huddle. What's up with the check? But I think the Giants, like I said, they're not on the Cowboys level. I mean, I know the Cowboys are kind of struggling right now, stopping the run or just being overall a good football team. But I think we actually corrected. And that's not to say that the Cowboys are going to be back after they beat the Giants, but it's going to be nice to have a nice little win, and we better come up here and talk about it. But hey, because the Cowboys' schedule after this gets really, really tough. So I think we got the Lions, we got the Steelers, and then I think we got the 49ers after the bye
There's
week.
Niners in there.
So we got to win this game. So losing the Ravens game was bad, but it wasn't a must win. But this game right here, considering that we lost against the Ravens, is a must win. If we don't win, somebody got to be fired. Somebody got to be held accountable. I don't know who that is, but somebody got to go if the Cowboys lose to the Giants. We might have to even come up here on Friday and record a podcast because it's going to be just that serious if the Cowboys lose to the Giants. Like, no. As a fan, I'm not gonna. That's not gonna be acceptable to me. I don't care what happens. I don't care if it rains, it snows. No, losing to the Giants is not an option. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, C.D. Lamb, Mike McCarthy, Mike Zimmer, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. That's not acceptable. Losing to the Giants is not acceptable. There's no way to
The
put it.
G-Man.
We ain't lost to the Giants in how many years? 3-4 years? No.
Yeah.
I will not
I mean,
tolerate it.
I'll give my score prediction right now. I think we win. I think we win 24-6. I don't even think they get a touchdown.
That's even low for the high-powered offensive players that we got.
Yeah,
24
I'm
points.
going 24-6
We got a
as a score.
$250 million quarterback. He can only put up 24 points.
Yeah, I'm saying 24-6. I think it's going to get a little chippy, and then we'll get a touchdown. It'll be like 17-6 and a half. Get another touchdown, be 24-6, play a little bit of defense, and I think that's it.
Andy Dalton put up 30 plus.
Oh my God. That's another story for another day.
But our $240 million quarterback is only going to put up 24 points.
Mm.
You got to think about it. Offensively, the Dallas Cowboys are stacked. They really are. Outside the run game, the Cowboys team as a whole is stacked with stars, but
Yes.
it's not equaling wins. It's not equaling playoff wins. It's not equaling Super Bowls. Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so we fire Mike McCarthy mid-season. Next season rolls around. Do we hire Bill Belichick? Is Belichick the answer? A lot of people say no. But if he's able to come in there and install some discipline or install,
I was
going to
say sometimes you might need that old head Bill Parcells type to come in and be like, "Hey, shut up."
And I
Listen.
know, and I know we know about the Tampa Bay and Tony Dungy, and then John Gruden came in and won the Super Bowl with Dungy's team. Maybe that's what need to happen with the Cowboys. Bill Belichick come in and win the Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys because he's more disciplined. Because the knock on Tony was that he was a players coach, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you could be a little bit too friendly with the players. And
Too
yes,
friendly,
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did produce and play very well under Coach Dungy. Like, they was balling out. Defense was balling out. But for whatever reason, maybe John Gruden was able to get a little bit more out of them to take them to that Super Bowl victory. Yes, it was Tony Dungy players, but maybe John Gruden got an ounce of something else out of the players that got them over the hump to win that Super Bowl. I mean, they had Brad Johnson at quarterback? Oh my God. Like, some of that had to be coaching. I know we don't like to give John Gruden credit, but some of that probably had to be a little bit of him.
Yeah.
Tony Dungy was a fantastic coach, and we saw that when he went to the Colts and won the Super Bowl. So it's not that he was a flaw.
Gruden's a hard coach, but he knows how to win too.
Yeah, so maybe we need something like
maybe,
that.
Maybe that's what the Cowboys need. Listen, if we keep losing, it's got to be something internal then, because I don't see that we're lacking talent. I just see like there's something internally that we're not seeing as fans. Something's going on, because the players wouldn't be reacting like that.
Right.
So,
and one last thing, like speaking about the Dallas Cowboys offseason and talking about the general manager, I mean, he did come out and say, hey, how come we didn't sign Derrick Jones? And he said we didn't have the money. And I think that's one of the things that the Cowboy fans are missing about our offseason. We didn't have the money to sign even a budget Aaron Jones. Like, the Cowboys really didn't have any type of money. And the reason why we didn't have any type of money was because we got to sign Dak and we got to sign CD. They took up a lot of the money. The fact that they kind of waited to the end of the off season and beginning of the new season to sign their deals, that's not on the players. That's obviously Jerry Jones and everybody like that. But we just ain't had the money to do it. Derrick Henry would have been a nice addition. I think he should have came to the Cowboys even on a lesser deal. But hey, who is that man to say, hey, I'll take less to come play for you? Like, he ain't got to do that. So I get it, but we got to stop this. Oh, why we didn't sign this person? We didn't have the money to sign nobody. So the best thing that we did was draft. I ain't mad at it. We was broke. If Derrick Henry wanted to come take a hometown discount, come on. But he obviously ain't want to do that.
Yeah.
And then, if Jerry Jones would have made the call and say, hey, Derrick, you want to play for us for $2 million? Derrick Henry would have been in the news and blasting the Dallas Cowboys for being cheap, for even giving him a call, disrespecting him like that. So let's stop it. Let's stop that.
Yep.
So, all right. So what else you got? We got Giants, Cowboys. I got the Cowboys winning. Mike got the Cowboys winning as well.
Yep.
We normally do talk about what happened in the division last week, real quick. You had the
Well,
Eagles.
Washington with a big win yesterday.
Washington
On
was a big
Monday Night
win
Football.
for sure. Jaden Daniels showed up. So hey, shout out to the Commanders for winning. The Eagles got lucky and survived the Saints. And the Giants beat the Browns. So the Browns are who we
As
thought
of
they
right
were.
now, the Eagles are holding it down on the top of the NFC East right now.
They are. They are. I mean, I think they got a little bit lucky with that pick play that they were in with the tight
Yep.
end a little bit. I don't know what the NFL is going to do about that. Like, that's an obvious pick play. But shout out to the Eagles. Not they won. They got lucky. Their offense looks terrible. The team looks terrible. Um, so
Saquon's their only guy.
exactly. Shout out to the Giants for like letting Saquon walk. Who does that? Who lets
I
a
still don't get
franchise
it.
walk? Who
I'm
does
so
that?
glad I don't got to go against him tomorrow. I mean, well, Thursday.
Yeah. So shout out to the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants. I mean, they did what they supposed to do. So hopefully the Cowboys do what they supposed to do on
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night and get the dub, man. So
Yeah, man.
again,
No more tomfoolery.
make sure you go follow Tom Fruity on Instagram.
Yeah.
He will be dropping more videos. And make sure you also listen to the podcast on your favorite streaming platform. You got Spotify, you got Apple, you also got Google. The first three
Yep.
episodes is up already. Go back and listen to those. This episode will be posted as well. So make sure you go through and listen to the Silver and Blue Huddle on all your favorite streaming podcast platforms. Wherever you listen to podcasts, Silver and Blue Huddle is there. So make sure you tune in and follow as well on the Silver and Blue. Expert Corner will be back next week. I'm Richblkman. So amazing. Go Cowboys. We're going to beat the Giants. We'll be back happy next week. If we lose, we're going to be coming back Friday night. We're going to. Because we're going to enjoy our football weekend, okay? Not to worry about the Cowboys. So, Silver and Blue Huddle is out. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.